Hey guys, welcome back. Digital Gate Studios Productions. Today I have a very special guest making his grand debut on the channel. I got Jacob.
How's it going, guys? I'm Jacob. You might know me as Nito. And I came to showcase a pretty cool deck. It's no showstopper, but it's definitely one of the we've had a long time of EX3. If you are tired of playing the same deck set of formats, we have another month to go before we get BT11. If you want to play something a little new, I got some cool to showcase today. I think you guys are going to like it.
I absolutely love this deck. And I know, for example, our viewers, right, have been like, we want to see this type of deck. And I remember you and I were talking about this where I was like, I got to get this deck built. And you're already working on this. And your list is just so much better than anything I came up with. So I was so excited to get you here to do this. So again, big thank you. Very excited to see this deck.
Of course. We'll get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we'll start with our Digitamers. This is Dorbickmon or Dorbick-Rush.
Dorbick.
We're starting with Digimons. This obviously being a little glare there. Move it over to the right. Digimon is there simply because we are playing one of the best just draw power rookies in the game.
Oh my goodness, that Guillemon is so good.
Yeah, this package is insane. It's what makes like red yellow hybrid a thing. It's what makes just like helps Gallantmon finds its pieces. Being able to net you from one card, being able to net you a card for digivolving and 2 cards for attacking is just like huge amounts of value. Yeah, it just with this deck in particular, you need to find your pieces. So having Guillemon that just lets you find them while still attacking is really big. This isn't our only rookie though. To follow it up, we have 2 Omnimon X Anybody and 1 starter deck 7 Agumon.
Interesting.
With Dorbickmon, he requires 5 sources that are dragons, ceratopsians, or there's a third one. But he requires and dinosaur.
Yeah, Dragonkin, Dinosaur. There's some erratas. If you're unsure, feel free to check those out.
So we need those sources, and just to go with our eggs and have red rookies that continue to go on that. Guillemon X Anybody is really nice. A really solid one digivolving to pop 3 less DP on. This is important because if your opponent has a Digimon that does not let you reduce play cost, that can be really poor for you. So having a free to digivolve card that can help get rid of those with ease, really nice. And also are inherited here, adding 1,000 to the maximum DP you can choose with DP-based deletion effects. Dorbickmon is a DP-based deletion effect with his on play.
Yeah.
Guillemon X lets you 14Ks. So it just helps get over that little threshold of like what some Digimon have certain protections, and this just helps make sure we can get over that stuff. And Agumon is just when attacking, if this Digimon's attacking a player, it gets plus 2k. Dorbickmon is a 12k, so he dies to a lot of stuff. And with this deck in particular, losing a Dorbickmon stack can be brutal. Yeah. So
you put all these resources into that one big body just for it to, crash into something unfortunate.
So just being able to be beefier to make it through security, really important. That's our 7 rookies. We'll move these over here as I showcase the champions. This deck has a lot of 3-ofs, a lot of 2-ofs, a lot of 1-ofs, because Dorbickmon does require 5 different named cards.
Yes.
Or at least 5 different codes for the names. Besides these Guillemons, and besides, I have 2 Omnimons in here that will showcase the megas. Everything else in the deck is a source. Every other card can be used as a source. You just have to find 5 different ones. I run plenty of them. The 3-ofs are the cards that I deem more important, or the ones that you want to see.
Yeah.
So for our champions, we're going to start off with 3 of the Security Tech +1 Greymon.
Ooh, this is brutal card. I love it.
Just with Dorbickmon, we normally want to go for one huge punch of clearing through all the security at one time. Being able to stack those security pluses is going to help make us like another check, another swing, especially with all the turns that we're going to spend drawing and finding our pieces. To go along with them, we have 2 of the the starter deck Cordramons.
Oh, I like that.
2 of the starter deck Geogreymons.
Oh.
1 Burning Greymon and 1 Growlmon. Obviously, the 3 ofs are the ones that I deem more important. They go down in numbers as I deem them less important. These are really nice. With Dorbickmon, you can swing and check 5 security, but it doesn't do you any good if you can't swing that 6th time. So having security Digimon that can come out on your opponent's turn, the Cordramon's drawing you pieces, the Geogreys popping those floodgates that are going to prevent you from playing it on your turn.
Yeah.
It's an extra body. It's a free source for your Dorbickmon if you need it, because you can use stuff that's in play. These are just really nice to have. They're solid at a 2 spot. If you want to do, you could do 3 and 1 of one of them. You could do 4 and none of the other. In my testing, 2 of each has been really nice. They're nice security bombs.
Yeah.
And to come to our lower 2 down here, Burning Greymon is a hybrid, a necessary evil if Tamers are in your deck, and he is a Dark Dragon, so he does get counted as a source. And then our Growlmon here is really nice, just with a simple, your turn when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, gain a memory. This is going to help make our Dorbickmon cost 2 or even 1 if we have one of the level 5s. So that can be really helpful when you have a turn where you spend 2 memory to try and find pieces. Oh, I have them all. Let's go.
Yeah, let's Dorbick now.
So these are our champions. I think there are so many. One of the big things about this deck that I really like is there are dozens of cards that can be played in this deck, and it can be really built how you want to build it. My version tends to play a little more just dig for your pieces, go for Dorbick, and then get 1 check for game. But you could build a deck that wants to play in the hatchery a bit more, and being able to use the card draw that you naturally get from here, and then have Dorbick more as a finisher piece. Yeah. I know I see Dorbick being played in Black or Gray now because it's all dinosaurs and dragonkins. Dorbickmon, really, you can do whatever you want with it, which is why I think it's such a cool deck. So don't think of this as a deck to just copy and paste and play. Think of it as these are the cards that I've played with. I think these are good at these numbers. Obviously, do whatever you like.
Yeah, it's all personal preference and stuff. See, I think this is why I'm glad you're here, because my gut reaction would be oh, just go 4 Cordramon, 4 Geogray, right? Because what are the 2 weaknesses of the Dorbick deck? Like you said, those floodgates and drawing those cards. So that's why I brought in the big guns, guys, to help me with this video. And
that is something too of I will I continue to play test this and bring it to locals. I played it in a regional. I continue to play with this deck to see what I can do more with this, and that is a thing of maybe I don't need 3 fireballs, maybe 2, and I put an extra one of these in. And that's just again what is so cool about this deck. Really, do what you choose to do with it.
Yeah, pick your own adventure with cool dinosaurs.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
And not only that, a lot of these guys are really cool. There's a ton of cool there's a ton of cool alt arts that you can do with this deck too.
Yeah.
I know for those of us who like to bling out our decks, the only one I don't have is this Growlmon. Not paying $75 for it, but it's a cool deck that you can bling out for events, and that's super cool. We'll move on to our ultimates. These I have a lot more 3 ofs, and they mainly all do the same thing though. We're looking at 3 Master Tyrannomons.
I love the Master Tyranno.
3 Voltramons. Both of these giving us that security tack +1. Just inherently extra checks. Good for what we're going for here. Moving on to more of our 2 ofs. Have 2 Jazzarichmons. Jazzarichmon has an on-play of Digivolve, which I've done once or twice. More importantly, we have another inherited of while this Digimon has an on-play effect, it gains security. Really emphasizing stacking those security tag +1s.
Oh, that's deadly.
That's what we're going for.
There's 4 cards on that table right now that each can give security attack +1 underneath that Dorbick. All of a sudden, it's just where did all my security go in one turn? I didn't think we were quite there yet.
And that's one of the when playing this deck, your opponents will be, how many checks are you doing? And when you go, oh, I'm gonna check all 5 security.
Yes.
They're like, oh, okay. And they're hoping for a security bomb
with the Dorbickmon that you just played.
We have 2 of the Lavo Greedamons. Lavo Greedamon has an on play that deletes 5Ks or less, as well as an inherited that says all turns 1 per turn. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted, if this Digimon has an on play effect, gain.
Oh, that's perfect.
This is what I was talking about with the Lavo Greedamon and the Growlmon.
Yeah.
If our opponent has a Digi in play, we can play Dorbickmon for 1 memory. And that is just like, I'm sure if there was a third one that I could fit in here, I would do it, because being able to play Dorbickmon for free would be so cool. But right now, just like, this is also just being really nice, is like playing it for 2 is really nice, because then we can play an ADP.
Yeah.
We don't check options. Or playing it for 1 is really nice, because I can like do something else. The world is your oyster with this deck, and that's just another emphasis again of like, do what you want with this deck. And then to finish off our 2 ofs, we have one of the more important ones, I guess, for what makes this deck like being able to do its thing. We have 2 Majiramon.
Ooh.
So Majiramon is a holy dragon. He is, when attacking, if your opponent has no Digimons with sources in play, unsuspend this Digimon. If your opponent has no Digimon in play, they don't have a Digimon with sources in play. The Majiramon will let our Dorbick unsuspend. And that's where the OTK potential of this deck can come from, because there are some times where my 5 sources are simply Majira, Voltramon, Master Tyranno, Greymon, and Gazarichmon. And then you just go, I'll swing and check 5 security and unsuspend. Did it live through all 5 checks? Swing for game.
That's crazy to me. I thought we were done seeing blue in this deck.
But Majiramon's super nice. I don't know if this can be a 3 of. I'm sure it could be a 3 of if you wanted to cut down on one of the many other cards.
Yeah.
And all of these cards could be. You could play 4 Voltramon, and you could play 2 Master Tyranno. It's just all on preference. I like 3s because 3 is a nice number where you're going to see it often, but you're not going to have 2 or 3 of in your hand. That's what, and like to like offset that as well, I like 2 ofs because you will see them in the game, but you might have to dig for them a little bit. 1 ofs is more of like, oh, I hope I see this.
Yeah.
But I don't. That's why the 1 ofs aren't the most like necessary of the cards. They're more of like, oh, it'd be really nice if I had this, but if not, that's okay.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, right? Yeah.
Whereas like the multiple checks are the stuff that you do need to help like catch up, because you're gonna spend a lot of turns digging for cards. So to catch up by that, you're gonna swing and check for security. That's why the security tech ones are the ones that are at like 3 ofs. Just because they're necessary. Moving on to our ultimates, our megas, we do just play the 4 Dorbickmon.
The boss of the deck.
The man himself.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Dorbickmon is a 13 play cost, 12k level 6 with Rush. He is Digicross -2, and his requirements are 5 Digimon cards with Dragon, Ceratopsian, or Dinosaur in their traits, different names. So if you do assimilate all 5, he plays for 3, and he has on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP, and then for every source this Digimon has, add 2000 DP to that number. So that is where our, like, where these come in, and where this comes in is being able to on play delete your opponent's mega and then swing for a bunch of checks and put your opponent in a really awful position. You have to answer. Possible. It's just super cool. When this card came out, this was like amongst all the stuff in EX3, this was the card that I was like,
that was the one you wanted.
I
We
was
had such great decks out of that set. That's so cool, though. That's the one you must
like
have really
the Examon, the Imperial Dramon, all that stuff. And I was like, There's a lot of stuff you can do with this card that I don't think people are realizing yet. This is the card I wanted to put a lot of emphasis, and it's super fun.
Oh my goodness.
I just really enjoy it. To go along, we have 2 level 7s.
Okay.
We have one of the Blitz Omnimon.
Okay.
Now, a very important rule to know is that with Dorbickmon, you can't Blitz Omni for game the turn you play Dorbick.
Got it.
Because Dorbick doesn't gain Rush for the turn, he simply has Rush. So you will swing for all your checks, and then when you go into Omnimon, he will unsuspend, but he can't attack because he doesn't have Rush.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So that's why it's not a 2 of, right?
But Omnimon is important simply because he does unsuspend our stack, and he does say that if he would be deleted by an effect or returned to hand or deck, I can save him. There's not a lot of like, I wanted to get a lot of like protection inheriteds, but there's not a lot of protection inheriteds in these colors that don't specifically say Garurumon or Greymon.
Got it.
Whereas Omnimon himself just has protection, which is super handy. So yeah, Omnimon is there to kind of just unsuspend and to protect our Dorbick stack for a turn.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Dorbick is a lot easier to kill than just but Dorbick is fairly easy to kill. But with Omnimon, now it's something of, I need to swing into it, or I have to Chaos Dagger or something like that. And that's going to potentially give us a lot of memory to make the swing back the next turn. To go along with it as well, we have 1 copy of Omnimon X Anybody, the BT10 version. I just really like this card. When Digivolving is super nice. There's certain matchups where this is handy. There's he goes for 3 on top of Omnimon. I'm not playing X Anybody, although I have debated the idea of fitting in a copy of it.
Yeah.
To be able to swing with this and then Digivolve into this, because that's something you can do. But this card's just really handy. Being able to look at your opponent's security and take a card off is crazy. And he's just really nice. He's a 16k body, gets rid of a threat.
Yeah.
Gets rid of a threat out of a security. And 16k is a lot harder to delete than 12k.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, these are the 2 Omnimons. I was playing one of the Omnimon X Antibodies from BT5.
Yeah. That's a great one too. I think I remember you sending me that list with that in it.
Yeah, and that Omnimon works out really well in certain scenarios. But I wanted an Omnimon that has a when Digivolving.
Yes.
Because the Omnimon X Anybody has a when attacking.
Yeah.
And you won't necessarily that's expecting to survive the next turn, where we want our Omnimons to be able to help us survive until the next turn. And the stopping attacks was really nice, but this being able to just like get rid of that, even if I swing for 4 checks, being able to get rid of that last security and then have a 16k body comes up a lot. This is a lot more handy than the Omnimon X Anybody from BT5. But if you wanted to play that one, I think it's almost as good of an option as well. These are all the Digimon. There are
a lot of dinosaurs. A lot of dinosaurs. This is great.
A lot of dinosaurs. A lot of everyone's favorite Digimons.
Yes. You mean Master Tyranno?
Just thrown into one big deck where Dorbick punches for security, and it's a lot of fun. But obviously, needing to have 5 different named cards, as well as the 6 being Dorbickmon. Also, Dorbickmon is a dragon.
Yes.
Dorbickmon can be used.
You're right.
There are games where I have 2 Dorbickmons in hand.
Desperate times, right?
I gotta use one of them. So needing six different named individual cards in your hand is a lot to ask for at one time. So to subsequent spot, we have plenty of draw power. Find you those pieces. On top of the Guilmons, who already do an amazing job of finding you cards, we play. We play 3 of the Red Memory Boost.
I love it.
Red Memory Boost is really nice because almost everything in here is red. Besides 3 cards. Not counting the Omnimons because we don't need those for sources. Almost everything in there is red, so red memory boost finds everything. Red memory boost is also really good because being able to guarantee you go to 3 in a turn. To help make sure that we can play that Dorbickmon.
Yeah, that's the
really
last thing you
important.
need is being limited on your Dorbick. Like, you can't make the play when you have the pieces finally.
And playing a Dorbick to pass the turn almost always is like really bad. You want to play a Dorbick and it swing a turn. Playing a Dorbick and like passing the turn and your opponent just having any sort of removal to get rid of it just sets you back so much.
Yeah,
because you're losing 5 to 6 cards. Even this being Mega Deathed is just awful because that's 5 cards that you don't have in your hand.
Yeah.
That you didn't draw even. So like removal is rough for Dorbick. So that's why you want to be able to play Dorbick on your turn and have your opponent have to respond to on their turn after we've already checked security. So red memory boost helps make sure we can go to turn.
Got it. I love it.
So follow it up. We have 3 copies of Hero of the Skies. Hero of the Skies is played for the simple 2 memory ability to draw 2 cards. We just want to churn through this deck as fast as possible. Your goal is to find all of the pieces to be able to summon your Dorbickmon as quick as possible. Having 3 of a card that just draws you 2 cards, really nice. Its security effect adds it to hand. We don't ever get to give a crossheart security attack +1.
Really? Are you kidding me?
But I think he has enough security attack +1.
I think you do too. You don't need 6 security attack, right?
But yeah, Hero of the Skies, really good draw power. And it's also at 2 memory is really nice because it's not a huge commitment. You can turn 1, play this, and give your opponent 2, and that's the same thing as Digivolving a champion.
Exactly.
To follow along with it, we have 3 copies of Fireball.
I'm glad you put this because this is where, because I'm 100%, I was converted into the Church of Fireball, right? Like, and then all of a sudden Hero of the Skies comes out and all of a sudden everybody's playing all these Hero of the Skies. So explain to me, what is the strength of that Hero of the Sky versus the Fireball and why you wouldn't just, do 4 Fireball, 2 Hero of the Skies or 4 of one and 2, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And to be honest, having 4 of one of these and 2 of the others probably might be better in some cases. These are very much the same card and very much different cards. As in Fireball checks out a security, which is super nice. But in the instance where I need to be drawing cards, Fireball can be weaker because Fireball deletes a 3K or less. And if you don't delete something, draw 2 cards.
So you have to do that first.
Yes. So your opponent can sometimes play a throwaway rookie or play a rookie to help find them pieces.
Yeah, if they're playing one of their searchers.
Instead of being able to draw my cards, which I needed to do to summon my Dorbick and do everything I wanted to do, now I'm just deleting their rookie. And while this is important, though, because like I said, for the 2 costs of being able to delete a 3K or less, sometimes you have turns where you need to pop a floodgate to use your mem boost or like pop an X card to be able to use X card. So there are turns where Fireball is being able to just get rid of any rookie. Super awesome. But because Fireball has to do that, and if it doesn't, you draw 2 cards, that's where I like Hero of the Skies more in scenarios where I always know that Hero of the Skies is going to draw me 2 cards.
Yeah, nothing can stop that, right?
I'm drawing 2 cards with this. But this card is better and it's more versatile. This has more modes. This does, and this plays out of security.
Yeah.
But this sometimes won't draw me cards, where Hero of the Skies always will. Which is why I stuck at 3 and 3.
Got it. So you feel like you got that good balance there.
Yeah, 3 of each of these is where I thought was the money mark for these cards. But obviously, like we said, you could take out 1 of each of these and play 2 more Cordramons. Or 1 of each of these for one of each of those. Like any of these cards that aren't 4-ofs can be made 4-ofs if you really feel like you need those. If you're not finding your security attack +1 Digimon, maybe
you should be able to find it with how many you got there. But you're right.
And with all of the search, you will find your piece. Yeah. But if there are certain pieces that you aren't finding enough of, you can up those to 3 ofs or 4 ofs, and the deck will be able. The deck is, while there are certain cards you need to run, it is truly your toolbox of like, what do I want to find more of? What do I think is more important? And those are the cards that you want as 3 ofs versus what cards are nice to have, or what cards are your tech cards.
I see.
To go along with these, we have more. These are more tech pieces. Our first one is High Speed Plugin. I love this card. I think a lot of the plugins got like overlooked.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, you only use them in Sakuya.
But
you know,
some of these cards are really good. High Speed Plugin, for those of you who don't know, I know you're thinking, oh, we have very little blue Digimon. How can we play this?
I mean, that's why you're playing 4 blue Digimon, right?
It does say if you have a Tamer in play, you can use this card without meeting its color requirements. That is really important. We do run 3 red Tamers to help make sure we can play a high-speed plugin. Its security effect draws a card and adds this to hand, so it's perfect. Still netting you extra cards as well. And with a very simple effect of for the turn, one of your Digimon gains jamming and can't be blocked.
Oh, that's insane.
This is going to help you get through those security controls and those machine Dramons and those Black War Greys. Black War Grey less so because they can redirect.
Yeah.
The Melgas that can block your Dorbick stack. This is just going to help make sure that my Dorbickmon is going to hit security, going to do a bunch of checks. There's nothing you can do to stop it. High speed plugin, I love it as a one of. You don't need it, but sometimes I want to play a Dorbickmon, then I'll pop one of my Memboosts so I can high speed plugin and make sure he gets through all of them.
That's awesome.
We also have a one of Delicate Plan. Don't know what this card does. No options. The bane of every security control player's nightmares. They wake up thinking about this card.
Yeah.
It's just this comes up a lot, especially with our Lava Garitas and Growlmons, of being able to play Dorbick for 2 and Delicate Planning for 1 to just say like, hey, if I was to hit a Hammer Spark or a Mega Death in security, that'd be really unfortunate. So Delicate Plan just helps make sure that we're going to make it through security. We're going to be okay. And High Speed Plugin and Delicate Plan essentially do the same effects that I want them to be doing in this deck. You could run 2 Delicate Plans if you don't feel like you're playing enough Tamers frequently enough. You could run 2 High Speed Plugins if you don't feel like your local scene has a lot less security control, a lot more of Digimon with blockers and Digimon with like big securities. You might want more high speed plugins. Another deck that this comes in super handy against is Jessmon.
Oh, really?
A lot of times when Jessmon does their big GX play and spits out 5 Sistermons and they all have blockers.
Oh, you're right.
How unfortunate it is when you slam a Dorbickmon and go to swing for 5 checks and then they just get to use one of their Sistermons to sack. And it's okay. They're perfectly fine. But with High Speed Plugin saying the Digimon can't be blocked, all of a sudden all those little Sistermons aren't doing any good. They're not protecting nothing. The next 2 option slots, we are playing a lot of options. We are playing 14.
A lot.
Oh, 13. My bad.
That is quite a lot.
Yeah, we're playing 13 options.
But it makes a lot of sense, right? You got tons of draw, you got your memory, you got your ADP, you got the jamming. What else? What else we got?
We just the last spot is this can be a really slow deck. This also can be an incredibly fast deck.
Depends what your hand is, right?
And that's part of what makes Digimon so cool. That all is depending on those opening 5. There are games I've played where turn 2 or 3, I'm like, hey, we're gonna drop a Dorbickmon. If it dies, I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's necessary to just slam them and say, let's go for it. But I also don't want to leave us unprotected. For our last 2, we have 1 copy of Crimson Blaze, 1 copy of Gaia Force.
Ooh.
Just the better of Red's removal spells. I'd hate to be OTK'd by a Grandis before I can get my stuff off.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be rushed down by D-Brigade before I get my stuff off.
Yeah.
So having 1 or 2 security removals, while it might seem as like, not necessarily, I just like to be able to have the chance of Sometimes I hate that feeling when your opponent is like swinging out for game and you're just like, I don't have anything in my security that's going to help me. But with having these and the Geo Greys, it's always like, well, I might be able to shoot down that last rookie and be able
just
to
survive just one more turn.
If one more turn, I can go for Dorbick and go for game. So Gaia Force and Crimson Blaze are one ofs. They were just there to help make sure we get to survive for another turn. Then to follow it up, we have 3 Tamers, just 2 heroes, and 1 tie.
Interesting split there. Okay.
So when I started off, I originally was playing more ties.
Yeah.
Another, again, emphasizing on the Dorbickmon wants to check a lot of security.
Yeah, you had that really big OTK play.
But the difference between checking 6 security and 7 security is a little silly. But through testing, what I've found is that hero is a lot more important. Dorbickmon is only 12k. And I know, like, I remember back when the game first came out, 12k was pretty big.
Yeah, it was huge, right?
Omnimon-Rush was a deck that people were playing just because he was really cheap to get into 12k, and he could beat over all the 11k little bodies that were all like frustratingly like small when it felt like playing against that deck.
I played that.
So Dorbickmon being 12k can die to a lot of megas and so being able to make our Dorbickmon bigger is just going to help us survive those checks, which is why our Agumon is in there. And it's why our hero is there as well.
Got it.
Being able to make Dorbickmon 16 or 18k to just like get through security, it's gonna help us live. It's gonna help us make sure we get that one punch with Dorbick.
But you still want the 1 tie?
I like the 1 tie. I don't feel like 3 heroes is necessary.
That's what I was thinking.
I have the box topper ties, so I want to at least play one of them. So
you got to show to your opponent, right? Especially if they're playing Imperial and you can each do it, right? It's kind of fun.
But tie is nice, or just extra security checks. But I do think hero is the most important, which is why he's a 2 of.
Why he's a 2 of.
Why I would understand if you want to play because hero. Making Dorbick bigger is what's going to help you survive this security. What's going to help you win. High could be seen as more of a win more card.
Got it.
But with cards like that have no sources, sometimes it's nice to I can still get an extra check from it if I don't have all quite of the source. And sometimes also you have to go into a Dorbickmon that doesn't have the full 5 stacks. Sometimes we have to make a Dorbickmon with 4 stacks. Play him for 5, and Ty can help sell us hey, we'll still get that extra check.
That makes a lot of sense.
This is Dorbickmon. It's been a passion project of mine. I love this deck. I have gotten some really fun results with it. It's a joy to play against. I feel it's a joy to play. There's nothing cooler than turn 3 being able to slam down a Dorbickmon, swing for 5 checks, and have my rookie swing. That's always super.
Yeah. What more could you ask for?
This is Dorbick. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, I love it. I'm super stoked. Everybody give it up in the comments below. Everybody say we need more Jacob on this channel, and we want to see more of what he can come up with. But I just absolutely love this list. I think you've absolutely nailed it. You killed it. All the extra security check. A good mix of dinosaurs, ceratopsians. I'm not going to pretend like I can pronounce it as well as you. Dragons, holy dragons, dark dragons, water, whatever dragons you got in there. It's just such a good balance, right? Your whole ratios with the splits of just makes so much sense, and I'm also a fan of this deck. What more can I say?
And that's the why I've spent so much time play testing and why I was. Just wanted to get one more local with it to see what cards I liked as well. Yes. There's still cards I'm not playing that you could still add to this.
Oh yeah.
A card that I'm debating adding is the Greymon that gives plus 2k.
From BT1. Nobody uses that card.
No one. But just again, I cannot emphasize enough. Dorbick dying to security, really unfortunate.
Got it.
So just helping to make sure Dorbickmon lives, super important. So that's another card I've debated adding as one of. The Growlmon X Anybody, which adds another 1k on deletion effects, is another card I thought of, because with that and the Guilmon X Anybody, Dorbickmon could pop 15ks. And that's gonna pop your like Examons or your like Omnimons that don't have protection.
Absolutely.
There's so many little things that you can tweak and do with this deck.
Yeah.
That is just what makes this deck so cool, and like this like idea so cool. Which is why I've spent many locals playtesting it. Many locals doing really good, many locals doing really bad. It's a deck that's really fun. It's got a great learning curve. Anyone can pick it up and enjoy it.
I mean, it's such an alternative way to play the game, and that's what we love here at this channel, right? Like, we love, obviously I love stack decks, don't get me wrong, but having this unique way to play, it's almost like a Magic game, right? Where you have all that draw engine, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine being able to play Pot of Greed and Yu-Gi-Oh! For all those Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, right? Now it's like you're filling all these pieces into hand to slam one body that they can't really counter. They can, prepare for things coming out of the raising area, or they can remove things on board, but they can't stop you if you've spent your first 3 turns drawing 10 cards and then you slam down that Dorbick like you were saying.
And there are genuinely some turns where your opponent will put you to 3 and you're just simply playing a fireball and drawing 2 cards. Oh, I drew another one. I'll play another fireball and draw 2 cards.
And you only give them 1 unless they have a memory tamer, right?
Yeah.
So,
but like there are some turns where all you're doing is drawing cards. There are some turns where all you're doing is finding the piece of, oh, I just need one more source. You have plenty of draw power to find said source. And again, another emphasis on why I love the Guilmon package so much with this deck. I think it's the best. I think it's the best eggs to run with this deck. I played around with the blue version of the deck.
Yeah.
That played the jamming Vmons.
Yes, we love that here at the channel.
It played Tidal Wave and Kaiser Nail. And it played some of the megas that you can play from Dorbickmon.
Got it.
Volkdramon and Metallic Dramon.
Almost like that Dragon Links kind of style that they're doing now.
Yeah. But every time I played it, I missed the Guilmon. I missed that just extra card draw. I missed the the fireballs and the heroes. Like I really think that this Guilmon package does just such a good job of being able to like push for security, because it's a free check and a 2k body. You're not expecting this to live. If it lives, heck yeah, that's really cool.
And you do it again.
And this is like a delete on site Digimon, because your opponent sees that and goes, well, I don't need him drawing an extra 2 cards on his turn.
Yep.
On top of everything he's going to already be doing. I should delete this as possible. And if they're spending extra time getting rid of your rookies and your level 4s that come out of security, they're not hitting you in the face. And that's gonna help you just find more of your pieces. Again, go for Dorbickmon. Because that is one of the things with this deck that is like, you do have to find 6 individual cards. So having these Guilmons and having these heroes and fireballs and red memory, is you're going to find them, going to be okay. And like it's a really fun deck.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll check you out next time.
Heck yeah.